will argue with you about names of the week, paganism. How out of order are we as a community of believers? How out of order are we? As I said before, people, I would have, and people in my family who wanted to be Israelites, which, that whole thing is just, to me, is just a big waste of time. There's so much separatism in their belief and what they believe. And there's different levels, there's different functions of Power Rangers that you can become in that belief system. All over the country, you see them. Some don't. It's crazy. But anyway, the whole point is, I found myself getting into it with a brother about going to church on Saturday or Sunday and Sabbath day and all. And I kept saying to myself, do you know the foundation of your argument, as I said before, is based on paganism? You want to argue with another believer about the day, and then you hold Saturn Day to your vest, and you're defending Saturday. But this is the reason why I say, if you really knew what that was all about, Jesus said the Sabbath was made for you, not you made the Sabbath. Jesus observed the Sabbath law because he had not fulfilled the law yet. So he participated, except for when it was time to do something good. But now that Jesus is risen, I keep telling folks, the danger behind saying, I'm going to give God one day a week. That's that Sabbath. You really supposed to be resting, right? That's what it was supposed to be about. But Jesus is our rest now. And we're supposed to find rest in him every day. Okay? Every day we're supposed to find rest in him. He is our rest. And he will deliver us to our rest in Revelation 4 and 5 when we're standing on that sea of clear glass crystal, which means we are done with our work. We're at rest now with the Lamb. Let's get into this. Because a lot of people talk crazy, and they talk out here, and they're really yelling about what they believe. But there's more to break down. This whole system that we on is pagan. This is the reason why I say, when people make them Rapture Calendar Guide videos, you're really making them off of paganism. That's the reason why they haven't produced any fruit. First of all. Second, and it ain't got nothing to do with Jacob. January is named after Janus, the god of doors. This month opens the year, but not in the lunar calendar. The new year is in the spring, not the dead of winter. February is Februaro or Febroo. Purified. And this was a Roman month of sacrifices and purification. Okay? March is named after Mars, the god of war. April comes from Aperia or Apirai, or that's hard, or higher, or peer higher. Okay? And it means open. Okay? This is the month when trees open their leaves. This is spring. This is also the time that you see in Isaiah 61, verse 9 through 11, where you see it talking about the earth shall yield up her bud. That's the spring harvest, right? Getting into May. Maya or Maiah, named after a goddess. Okay, this is the month when plants really start to grow. Now, there's other things out here that show you all the lowercase gods that these things are named after. June, named after Uno, queen of the gods. July, named after Julius Caesar, in case you didn't know, ruler of Rome. August, named after Augustus, ruler of Rome. September, septem means 7. Now, when you get into September, October, November, those 4 months are named. You could say August could be named after a number 2, but October is named after Octo, which is 8. November is named after Novem, which is 9, and December is named after Decem, which is 10. Okay? Now, all of this is occultive. It's named after, and there's other deeper names that the 12 months are named after. Okay? Those are the 12 months. Let's get into the, what is this? The year. Well, we just did the years, but let's look at this one and see what this one says. Okay, now let's go and find another one. Pagan names of the month. Now this is WordPress. You can find different things out there. January is from a Latin Januarius. Okay. If you just take a look at some of these things, these are the things that we operate on that God told the children of Israel that they must not operate on. These are pagan gods. Okay. February, let's get into March again, named after war. April is fertility month. That's what they say. Okay. May, named after a Roman deity. See, these are deities and gods. Also, the Greeks are involved in this naming stuff as well. So let's go here and let's look up this. Let's go back to pagan. Let's look up pagan names. Move myself out the way here. Pagan names of the week. Now this is one that we really need to look at for real. Let's look at this. Open up WordPress. Sunday. What I'm showing you guys, hopefully people are doing their back search. Okay? A lot of things that we're doing today ain't got nothing to do with God. Sunday, the day of the sun. This is the day that they worship the sun. Okay, it's named. It's a pagan Roman holiday. It's an English name and it's a German name. Okay, derives from Latin, dies and solus, sun's day. Let's get into Monday. What is Monday named after? Monday is named after the moon. I'm not going to get into the whole thing. I'm just going to do the first couple lines. Tuesday is the third day of the week, named after Norse god of war. Wednesday, Woden's Day, is the fourth day of the week, named after Odin or Woden, chief god in Norse mythology in Sweden, Denmark, the day. So Thor, also read that. Thursday is named after Thor. There it is, right there. I've already done all these studies multiple times, so I know them. Again, Thursday, named after Thor. Thor, who is in Norse mythology. Mythology, folks. And people want to run around here pointing fingers at each other because you don't go to church on Saturday. You go to church on Sunday. You don't worship God on Saturday. We worship God. All of it's off. All of it's wrong. All of it. Because you're basing it all around paganism. And I'm showing you the proof. Friday, Frigg's Day, is a name for Friggs or Frigga, who in Norse mythology is the goddess of the sky, wife of Odin. Why do I want to say Marvel superhero comics? Why do I keep Saturday? This is the day right here, y'all. This is the day that folks like to argue about. Saturn's Day. This is the day that you worship Saturn. It's the seventh day of the week, named honor of Roman god Saturn. So when you out here arguing with people about going to keep the Sabbath on Saturday, you're arguing paganism. Stop it. You're arguing paganism. Those that still want to keep that one day for Sabbath, you're still keeping the law of the Orthodox Jew. Morally, for me, for folks to say, it's the same way people only go to church one day a year, and that's Easter. What are we doing the rest of the days of the week? You say, I take this one day out for God, it's my Sabbath day. But what about the rest of the week, folks? We're supposed to have Jesus every single day. Why? Because he is the Prince of Peace, not just one day of the week. He observed Sabbath on that seventh day, again, because he had not fulfilled the law. He said, I did not come to destroy the law. I came to fulfill it with grace and mercy. This is the new covenant in my blood. Have we all forgot about all of these things that he said? It feels like we just forgot about them all. Like what? If this is a daily walk with him, and if he is the Prince of Peace, and I'm walking, air quotes, with the Prince of Peace, so come on the seventh day, for some of y'all, Saturday, then what's happening on Saturday? If I'm already supposed to be walking with him every day of the week, and he is my peace, so what happens on the seventh day? Now, when I was coming up, grandmother said everything got shut off Friday night through Saturday. No electricity. If you didn't get them dishes done, you had to get them done. If you didn't get none of that chores done around the house, you was in trouble, because everything shut down on Friday evening at dusk. But again, that's just like saying we got to endure to the end. It's like, for me, people say we don't have to observe the law, but you're still observing the law when you hold these practices. There is a new covenant, folks. Jesus said this, a new covenant. That was the old covenant. Again, he said, I didn't come to destroy the law. He said, I came to fulfill it with grace and mercy. If you broke the law during that time, when Joshua was told to go into the land and occupy it, God told him, don't touch nothing of their stuff, none of their spoils. Okay? Joshua gave that information to everybody else. One person did something that they wasn't supposed to do, and they took spoils and hid them. So what we're talking about is listening and comprehending. Joshua was told that. He didn't do it, and he gave the information. But it's up to us, folks. Either you're going to run with it, and you're going to pay attention to it, and you're going to say, I submit to it, or you're going to be like that member in Joshua's clan that took something that God told him not to take. Now bring out his whole family and kill him. Old Testament wasn't no grace and mercy. You just got dealt with right then and there. Saturday is the day that folks want to argue about keeping the Sabbath, but I'm trying to help y'all. Y'all really arguing over paganism. Paganism and God don't go together. Yes, God said, I ceased from my work on the seventh day after I created life. Should you have some type of rest when you're working? But let's be honest, folks. Ain't nobody really resting when you're supposed to be resting. Why? Because your brain is running, thinking about the things you need to do while you're supposed to be sitting down resting. That's why that rest that everybody's talking about don't come until we are standing at the throne with the Lamb and we're standing on our rest. Okay? That's true rest. This other stuff we do, that ain't rest. We ain't resting. I didn't hear personally people, I done slept for 4, 5, 6 hours and I still can't get no rest, because your mind is going. Jesus is supposed to be our Prince of Peace, to give us that rest to where we're not all over the place, because we have not put our trust in Christ, our peace in him. You ever heard of the phrase making mountains out of molehills? That's what people do. And you say, well, this one day. Well, what about the rest of the week? Well, I'm still going. You see how that don't make no sense? You can say, this one day I'm going to give it up. I'm going to chill. I'm not going to do nothing. I'm going to rest, and But what about the rest of the week? What you just do? You just go back to the world and do what you've been doing? Because you can't say, I still do that I do on the Sabbath day that I pick. I still do all of that on the rest of the weeks. That ain't mathing to me. That's not mathing. That's the equivalent. This is my opinion. That's the equivalent to people going to church one day a year for Easter. What are you doing all the rest of the days and the weeks of the months that you're not in church? So that was the days of the week, paganism. So I showed you the years, the month rather, which was the 12 months of paganism. You see the days, it's paganism. Okay? And everything that we've been doing in this world has been based off pagan things. Okay? Pagan names of the days of the week. Pagan names of the months. And people want to argue this paganism. But as he told the children of Israel in the Old Testament, them names should not be coming out of your mouth. But yet we do it anyway. And people want to base their Rapture Calendar Guide videos off this same paganism. It produces no fruit. First of all, it ain't about Jacob. Second, you're using tools that was used in mysticism, mythology, and you want to use that day and boast that day up and argue with people. I worship on Saturn's day. That's not what I'm saying. That's exactly what you're saying. I worship on Saturn's day, and I go to church on Saturn's day, and you go to church on the sun's day, where they worship the sun. I'm more blessed than you because I go to church on Saturday. I actually have people tell me that to my face. And we're both standing looking at each other, breathing in oxygen, spitting out carbon dioxide, and you more blessed than me. But we're both blessed that we woke up this morning to see a new day. I had some dude tell me, oh, you're not blessed because you work for the white man. I said, fool, you standing in the same plant that I am, getting the same paycheck. Hi, what you talking about? That's why I don't get into that Israelite garbage. Because they so whacked out over there and everything that they think. You got different degrees of it. And then I brought this, I said, hey, bro, ain't you one of them? I said, what you think about these? Oh, we don't roll with them. What? And you want me to join that garbage? Y'all beefing within each other. I ain't never seen God beef with himself. Deuces.